G'day and welcome to this week's edition of Deadly Choices TV. I'm Petero Civoniceva, Deadly Choices Ambassador, and we've got a deadly program lined up for you this week. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands from which we are broadcasting here today in Brisbane, plus the many other lands in which our listeners are tuning in from, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Deadly Choices TV is a new weekly program showcasing the behind-the-scenes work that goes on to produce and deliver our Deadly Choices programs, plus our health services that are available in our 19 clinics right across Southeast Queensland. First up today, we're excited to be relaunching the Deadly Urban Eyes campaign for 2022. We throw back to a yarn we had with the team about all things eye health, with a focus on how smoking cessation and other things can impact your vision. Plus, find out how you can pick up a pair of Deadly Urban Eye shades.
Hi everyone, Steve Ranoff here, Deadly Choices Ambassador, coming to you from the Deadly Choices studios here in Brisbane. Today, we got a great cast of people that I'll introduce, but we're doing that Deadly Urban Eyes launch and talking a bit of tobacco for the podcast. But today, our guest, Celia McCarthy, Eye and Health Services Manager. Welcome, Celia. And I didn't get you mixed up with another Cecilia.
No.
And Millie Phillips is she's dialing in. How you going, Millie?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good.
She's Manager Early Childhood Education Services. And we got Madison Adams, Podiatry Team Leader.
Thanks,
so the foot doctor.
Maddie. Yeah.
Hey?
Just Maddie's cool, yeah.
As we get started into the session, I think we might start with Celia. Celia's going to talk about tobacco and eye health and give us a bit of insight, the repercussions of smoking and eye health.
I suppose a lot of stuff in the body's linked to blood flow and how the blood vessels work. And so, smokes can kind of get in the way of that. And the eye requires quite a lot of good blood flow, good blood vessels to work well. So good eye health is really maintained by, lots of exercise and healthy eating. And the smokes are part of that kind of risk factor. So we do it's important to quit the smokes or reduce them if you can. And then I suppose the other side of it is, say if you are a smoker, we want to see you in clinic. We want to check your eyes because that's also important, because then we can talk to you about that for you. And then if there's anything that needs to be sorted out, that early prevention is the key.
Yeah, and I think too, I'm a type 1 diabetic and bringing diabetes into it, and you talked about eye health, that we'll talk a bit further about that later on in the session. But, smoking on top of that just obviously would quadruple the chances of you having diabetes and smoking. And smoking seems to be a precursor for a lot of, your comorbidity, things that happen to people. So it does explain a lot of, I suppose, negatives of health issues for our people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, so what's some of the examples, you've come across with smoking and, probably for someone if there's early symptoms or whatever around that, what are they?
Yeah. So sometimes there can be early symptoms. So with macular degeneration, people can experience like waviness, like they'll look at a sort of a straight line and they can see some waviness. I suppose we'll talk about it a fair bit today. One of the things with eye health, and I suppose with your body as well, preventative health, is sometimes you don't notice any changes. You're not noticing them early, but we can pick them up a bit earlier for you and then help you early on. So that's why we kind of really more focus on that regular review. So coming back even without symptoms as well.
Yeah, and that's you see a lot of that. I think you did mention it there. You could be a smoker for a long time, but you just don't realise unless you go to a doctor. And I suppose that's a good message, because there's a lot of our community which obviously do smoke. If you don't really know, it's like I had someone say to me about putting on weight. I grew with my pants, so my pants grew with me when I went in to get a new pair. And it's the same because your eyes, you think everything's normal, but there's changes from when you started smoking to when you think it's all okay.
Yeah. And also, like, say the smoking, as I say before, if you've got diabetes or if you've got something you're worried about or you are a smoker, still come to the clinic, still come in and get those checks because that's important. It's probably more important in some ways.
To speak about that, sunglasses are very important to eye health.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I suppose, one of the messages within the campaign, which is, protect your eyes as well. So within the campaign, which protects your eyes from UV light specifically, of course, I mean, with sunglasses. Yeah. And it's also, a great messaging thing because it means what we did when you were part of the campaign, Strapping Young Lad, in the original campaign, and also again now is that whole idea, if you come into the clinic and have an eye test, then you get a free pair of sunnies, which is really it's a win-win for everyone.
So we got the new models?
Yeah, we've got some new models rolling out.
You might want to put them on there.
So we've got
I like these. How do I look? They're not too bad, actually. Can I have these?
Sweet, yeah. So you have to come for an eye test, Steve, to get that. Yeah. So essentially this year what we're really looking at with the Deadly Urbanised campaign is we're looking at all the things we're always looking at, which is get your regular check for your eyes. That's important. But we're specifically looking at how can we get the message out to younger people, like kids starting school, because that's an important time when kids get exposed to different health services. They understand that eye tests aren't scary. They know what they're about. They're actually pretty fun for kids. Kids really enjoy them. And then also we can, of course, check that there's nothing going to stop them, nothing going to disadvantage them in their eyes for school. And that's, of course, across the board comes in behind the 715, have that check for your standard 715, and then after that you have your eyes checked with an optometrist. Yeah, look,
I've got 5 kids and they're all young adults now, but and I noticed we got the little fellas. I won't put them on, I'll break them. But I back in the day, I just didn't really think that it was necessary to have my kids. They say from the age of 4 to get tested. Only time I think we ever got our children tested is when we thought they were struggling at school and they couldn't see the board or whatever. But no, it's very important that you just go and generally get a test of the young kids' eyes.
And same with me, Steve. I was the youngest of 4. Well, I am the youngest of 4. Yeah. And I got my first eye test when I was 15. When I said to my mum, I can't read the next line, I'm getting stuck on the paragraph. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? I said, I don't know. And like Millie said, I didn't know. I thought that's what everyone saw. And then when I got my first pair of glasses, the optometrist says, how are you coping? So as in, I think I cope with talking a lot, listening maybe, talking a lot definitely. So I'm definitely much more of a verbal person, I think maybe as well. So kids, as you say, is an important part of the campaign this year. And the other one is people who have diabetes. And that's, of course, when Maddie and myself and other professionals in the IUE network work together to say, hey, look, Maddie, you know this family. Can you check out, can you have a yarn to them about their eyes and say, hey, and Maddie will say, oh, yeah, that's actually important to us as well, that their eyes are working so they can check their feet. Yeah. And so we sort of work together like that.
That's great. So we're going to talk about, and I want everyone to have a conversation here on this subject around eye health with adults and elders and diabetes. So we might start with you, Maddie, and, the importance around that stuff.
Yeah, so I suppose as we've sort of mentioned already, it's super important to be, I suppose, proactive and just getting your regular checkups, even if you don't have any symptoms, because that's what the whole 715 is about, is coming in when you're well and staying well. And so we can pick up anything early on and get the right treatment or management, whatever that looks like. Yeah. So when we talk about adults and diabetes, and I suppose for me, looking at people's feet as a podiatrist, there's so much, I suppose so much education and prevention we can do and help people to understand how to look after their feet at home and what they can do to keep their feet healthy. Because a lot of the stuff's pretty simple, and it's stuff that you can, if you can work into your routine, it means that you're going to prevent any of those sort of end stage complications. So it's about, understanding your feet and diabetes and how that impacts with your body and how you can manage it.
I suppose with your feed health, you get a lot, obviously with our elders, you get a lot of access to, they're very open with, coming to see you and booking in.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I really love my job is we get to spend a lot of time yarning to elders and getting to know them, which is pretty special. So we can see a lot of people we will see quite regularly to help with their foot care, and often it's on an ongoing basis. So if someone needs help to manage their foot care, particularly some of the elders, we can help them regularly with that. So we particularly if they can't get down to reach their feet anymore, or maybe it's a bit tricky to manage their toenails even, we can help with that. And obviously, even if people don't have diabetes, we can still help with their foot health and managing that in the clinic.
No, I think we're coming close to wrapping this up, but finishing on that note, can you just let us know, what's the access through AMSs? Where do we have facilities? How do we access?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And so just like podiatry, we're across pretty much every clinic within the Southeast Queensland region within IUE and the members. And basically to become a member, you have to have a 715, of course. We know that. But with eye health, you can just ring up and make an appointment with the optometrist. And and then you can actually just get an appointment if you're a member. So you just ring reception, or if you're at the clinic having a check and you haven't had a check before or for a fair while, we want to see everyone every 2 to 3 years and people with diabetes every year. Yeah. If it's been that long since we last saw you, nick to the receptionist and say, hey, can I book you to the optometrist?
Oh, that's great. Look, what a great session. A lot of information there. I'm sure everyone will appreciate it out there.
Some really important advice there from our Deadly Urban Eyes team on how you can look after your eyes. Remember, you should be getting your eyes tested once every 2 years, or if you have diabetes, every year. And for our Jarjums, they should see their optometrist before they start school. Speaking of Jarjums, the best way to prepare them for a great start at school is to enrol them in kindy. I sat down with Millie from our Deadly Kindies team earlier this week to talk about our Deadly Kindies program, including how you can get your hands on a Deadly Kindies kit for your little one and more. G'day you mob, it's Deadly Choice Ambassador Petero Civoniceva here, and I'm lucky to be joined here by Millie Phillips. How are you, Millie?
I'm very well, thank you, Petero.
That's good, that's good. Now, Millie, you are the Manager of Early Childhood Education, and you also look after our Deadly Kindies program.
Yes, that's
Fantastic.
true. I've got a Deadly team that take care of it with me.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now, can you just tell us a little bit more about the Deadly Kindies program?
Sure. So Deadly Kindies program encourages little ones to go along to kindergarten, which of course is the year before the first compulsory year of school. So in Queensland, that's the first compulsory year of school is prep. So that's when they go along to school. But before that, there's a year called kindergarten. And so if you turn 4 by the 30th of June, so if you're turning 4 by the 30th of June this year, or if you've got a Jarjum turning 4 by the 30th of June this year, they are eligible to go to kindergarten. So if they come along to one of our clinics, one of the Aboriginal medical services, they can actually get one of these Deadly kits,
fantastic.
And I think we'll open up the kit a little bit later.
Yeah, for sure. Very
But
exciting.
it's a program really. We get some funding from the Queensland Government through the Department of Education. But IUE of course has been supporting this program since for a few years now, and it's been responsible for getting a lot of our little ones into kindy.
Beautiful.
Getting a great start in life.
Let me ask you, is this program only available in South East Queensland?
Actually, it started out in South East Queensland, but it's also available in Rockhampton through Bidgety.
Wow.
That's a Aboriginal medical service in Rockhampton, and Mount Morgan, which is near Rockhampton too, and also in Townsville, so through the Townsville Aboriginal and Islander Health Service. So
Fantastic.
2 other locations, and also just a little bit of a hint is keep an eye out on our social media, deadlykindies.com.au, and just for, there might be some announcements later this year.
Some big news coming.
There may be.
Now, I see this beautiful backpack down here. So can you tell me a little bit more about the Deadly Kindies kit?
Yep, sure. So this is a kit. It's really designed to try to alleviate some of those pressures, those financial pressures at the beginning of the school year.
For
like,
sure,
we all have those pressures, but some more than others. So you get this deadly little backpack,
Yep.
a water bottle, because of course every child needs a
Beautiful.
water bottle.
These are great, aren't they?
Yep, sure are. And if you open it up, there's like a little blanket. So when you have nap time,
Yep.
yep,
Oh, there we go. It's all packed away nicely.
it's all packed away nice and neatly. It might not end up like that at the end of the day, but it can start out like that at the beginning. And we had a whole heap of new branding this year too, or late last year. So we've got all of that on our kits now. So there's a sun-safe hat.
They're great little hat. I love the elastic in there too. So you can tighten it up, which
So
is
if you've
great.
got, some of our kids have got bigger heads than others. Others got little, smaller heads.
You weren't looking at me when you said that, were you, Millie?
Oh, myself too, don't you worry.
They're great, aren't they?
They
Fantastic.
are. A sheet, so that,
Beautiful.
for your
Yes.
little
It's a little
cot.
mattress. Yeah, it's
That's
all
right.
fitted one too, which is great.
Yeah,
Elastic.
absolutely. And very special this year, we did a little bit of a check to see what we had in our kits last year. And we had the insulated lunchboxes, which are great. They're great for going out and about. But a lot of kindies no longer take the insulated lunchboxes.
right.
So we've got one of these with our new
that one.
branding. So if you look at that,
That
so
looks
when you open it up, firstly, it's got a little handle.
Jeez, it's great, isn't it?
Open it up, it's compartments.
Oh, so you can put your little fruits
Yeah,
and
you can put
cheeses
your little
and
snacks in
stuff like
here.
that.
Sandwich and a drink can fit in the
Love it.
bottom here.
Love
So, yeah. So we're really proud of that. We took a little bit of time to get that right,
Yes,
and
yes.
we've already had some really good feedback from parents
It's
who have
amazing.
gotten.
And it fits perfectly
Fits
into
perfectly
the
in the
bag.
bag.
And I love the branding. How good's that?
Yeah.
And how good's the handles?
The handle's so good.
Might need one of these for
Yeah,
my lunch.
that's
yeah.
it. Oh, you know. Are you turning 4 by the 30th of
Yes,
June?
I am,
Yes,
yeah,
okay. And very special. You'll see I've got one of these shirts on too. They come in 3 different colours. How cute is that?
Wow. Now, I've got to
So-
ask, how do you get your hands on one of these amazing Deadly Kindies kits?
Yep. So like I said before, you have to be enrolled, like a little one has to be enrolled in kindy. So to be eligible, turning 4 by the 30th of June, the year that you enrol. And also very important to keep our health up to date for starting from a very young age is to have a 715 health check. So that
Very
of course
important.
is available at all of our Aboriginal medical services. Like we said before, it's not available at every single Aboriginal medical service across Queensland.
Sure.
Only southeast Queensland and, like I said before, Bidgety in Rockhampton, Mount Morgan,
Yes.
and Townsville,
Beautiful.
Townsville Aboriginal and Islander Health Service. So
That's great.
if you're up to date with both of those, as a parent, please speak to the clinic when you go in and have your health check. Just like you get a Deadly Choices shirt when you have your health check, if your little one is enrolled in kindy, remember to say, oh, my little one's enrolled in kindy, can I get a Deadly Kindies kit?
Fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. Now, also too, as part of the program, you also deliver some great online content as well.
We absolutely do. And Petro, you know all about the
Well,
online
yes,
content,
I
don't
do,
you?
Yeah, I love it.
So, we have some, quite a bit. We have a YouTube channel, Deadly Kindies YouTube. We also have Facebook and Instagram. So you go into our Instagram page, we've got little hints and tips. We've got one of our team, or actually a couple of our team do some great Insta stories with
Yes.
their little ones, talking about healthy lunch boxes, other different things, gardening, how you can go out in nature. So all of those really great,
Beautiful.
rich early childhood experiences. So we share hints and tips for parents,
Yes.
but also for educators and early childhood services. So, so we're on all of the social media and our YouTube channel and our website too. So you can go into our website for more information, and there's a whole heap of resources that link to the YouTube channel
Fantastic.
on the website. So, we've definitely got, and you'll see Petro, of course,
You'll see
on
me
that,
there,
and
yeah.
and you'll see members of the Deadly Kindies team as well.
Yeah.
So, We're really proud of our online content.
Fantastic, Millie. Well, thank you so much for telling me and our supporters out there who are following us about Deadly Kindies. And so you heard it all from Millie, where to get all the latest information around Deadly Kindies. And that's it. So thank you so much, Millie.
Thank you.
Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Some deadly work there being undertaken by our Deadly Kindies team. Don't forget to follow Deadly Kindies on Facebook and Instagram, and not to miss out on their weekly live playgroups and other deadly online entertainment. So before we wrap things up, we caught up with our IUIH NDIS team, who are doing some amazing work providing support and services for people within our community living with a disability. We also spoke to some community members who told their personal stories about accessing the NDIS and how IUIH NDIS team walked alongside them during their journey.
My name's Tamika.
My name's Rye.
My name's Sarah.
My name's Leander. Originally I worked at Yulibaraba, and I was seconded to the NDIS project team probably about 18 months ago.
Obviously I'm one of the NDIS project officers, NDIS being the National Disability Insurance Scheme.
So the NDIS program is about getting participants onto the NDIS scheme itself and helping them with their journey from getting the access all the way up into the plan implementation.
So just around supporting the participants and the families to really take the stress out of the process of applying for the NDIS.
So we support participants across all member services, IUE member services, from Gold Coast right up to the MAT 6 area. And we collaborate with any appropriate clinicians that are involved in participants' care.
I'm Katie Ann. I'm a mum of 3 kids. I have 2 that have ASD level 2 from Outback New South Wales, and my mob is the Warraju tribe.
Well, my name is Susie. Matt was married and I have 2 children, 6 grandkids, originally from Townsville.
It was hard getting onto the NDIS, which my caseworker now and my psychologist Anne helped me through it.
So I actually got knocked back twice in Townsville, and then I moved up here to Brisbane. And through the Woolloongabba clinic, my social worker, she asked me if I wanted to sort of reapply for it again. So yep, that's what I did, and you were the one who helped me out with that.
So it's been quite a long process.
It was a long process, yeah.
Challenges on a daily basis are an ongoing thing, but back then it was a lot harder to even just think about filling out forms to make sure everything was okay, and to know that, you know, there's support out there from you guys to do that is wonderful.
Getting out and about in the community is another thing. Because I don't have transport, I had to rely on my daughter a lot, and she works full time. Mm-hmm. She's got 2 children of her own, so that makes it even harder for me.
I've got more choices to make now. Of just before Christmas, I'm hoping that I get a job out of it.
And finally, got onto it. Now I'm looking to have a look at all the things that I can do that I wasn't able to do now.
What I love about my job is being able to connect with families and build that rapport and help them with the journey in getting the NDIS funding and helping out on the way.
I'm active. I'm getting out more, doing more things.
Just, helping someone try and get the support that they really deserve, and people just, being really thankful for having extra support.
Yeah, just getting out by myself, getting out and about in community, going and doing different things in the community.
Getting the positive outcomes for participants and seeing them thrive through the supports they've been able to receive, because it's life-changing for a lot of people, and it's nice to be a part of that journey.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in again next week. We will have a host of other special guests and stories to keep you informed here at Deadly Choices TV.